Greed is on a new level these days. Now they want what takes decades. Some want overnight. They want to wear your skin. It's called manners and integrity, never forgetting where you came from. But when you are none of the such, BJ will teach you boundaries, like she taught her kids. BJ was no one's sexy, easy meal ticket. She was a true healer, not a trauma bonding type of person. Plus, she was told Miss BJ was gullible. Or Neva. The younger girl really thought BJ would be attracted to her, because she was told a different story about BJ. Yes, BJ is nice, sweet, and caring, but not slow, stupid, or dumb. What the younger girl did not realize is BJ sharp intuition. BJ, upon meeting her, thought she was a bit strange. How she sat too close to her and even touching her hair without asking. BJ felt something off with her but thought she was being paranoid. BJ even shared some info with her but soon stopped because of the weird way she was looked at. BJ saw patterns and recognized a lot. This younger girl was in her energy field way too much, even sharing her personal information online. BJ had artwork, music, and a lot of unique opportunities due to the beautiful work she does, and all the while, this girl was stealing her work and passing it off as her work. This young girl had a lot of issues, being in another mature lady's business. Not once did she think that BJ could have been engaged or even married or had someone, a man. She learned fast that this was not that. She played a dangerous game with BJ and a lot of others. BJ could not believe that her first feelings were correct. She laughed because it was never going down like that. The girl still wanted to believe a lie. The younger girl was out of line. A real snake energy. Imagine listening to a group chat, the younger girls, telling lie after lie after lie. BJ listened, never saying a word. BJ let her believe she was clueless. BJ just met this person, never knew her. And she was not a family member, but she lied about that. She made herself seem like BJ was a horrible person all the while. BJ helped this person at some point, but she believed what another woman told her and the info about BJ. The one who told her the lies was really laughing at the younger girl. Gassed her up to do these things. It's giving get Mikey to do it, she will do anything. Tell the karma for the ones who tried to invade another for a win that was never going to be. BJ is an expert in fighting martial arts with the bow stick, a tall wooden one. She is very disciplined, loves to learn, and gives you the benefit of the doubt. Even when her ancestors said, watch this one, she is very persistent and disciplined. In her art, drawing, writing songs and poems, and singing and playing the piano, also a composer. She has a hit song called New Kind of Mambo she wrote for Big Maybelline. She is no fool. And see all, and her number one thing is never play with the Capricorns. Money or you will have real problems. BJ never played games and never liked disrespect. She loved her children dearly and trust Legend's energy. Sees all and she still works in the spirit. They did not call her Tenchu for no reason. That is heaven's punishment, let that sink in. Tenchu was always a leader. Capricorns bred and raise leaders, not weak cowards who want the identity of others. Alabama finest Choctaw, Irish, Afro-American girl who built a beautiful life with absolutely nothing to start with, and did just that when all the odds in the world were blocked against her. In the digital veins of every workplace, a low vibrational energy can lurk. A co-worker, not a friend or a known enemy, but a ghost in the machine, fueled by a jealousy so corrosive it sours the very air they breathe. Their weapon of choice? A stolen toolkit and a twisted desire to see others fall. They target the brilliant, the joyful, the successful, like the celebrated graphic designer Leo and the esteemed project manager Maya. Their attacks aren't born from a personal slight, but from a venomous envy, because the light of others casts a stark shadow on their own perceived failures and insecurities. The campaign is impersonal, yet deeply cruel. It unfolds as slander on the low, a series of whispering campaigns waged in comment sections and private messages. It's a barrage of pranks that cross the line from mean to malicious. They hack, they post, they lie, meticulously creating a false narrative designed to ruin reputations and sever connections. Through a rapid montage of digital assaults, slanderous posts materialize on Facebook and Instagram, using Leo and Maya's stolen likeness. Fake, cruel comments are left on their friends' posts, and grotesque AI-generated images depict them in embarrassing, entirely fabricated situations. For the victims, it is a living nightmare of confusion and betrayal. Their digital identity is hijacked, their online presence warped into a caricature of hatred. Their real-world relationships become strained by insidious lies they can't even trace back to a source. Leo is left confused and hurt when a colleague gives him a suspicious cold look in the hallway. Maya, in the middle of a high-stakes presentation, sees a notification for a slanderous post, and for a fleeting moment, her confident expression falters. revealing the deep cut of the invisible attack. What truly drives such behavior? It stems from a deep-seated psychological void and emptiness that festers within. This isn't just common jealousy. It is a pathological obsession. These individuals are permanent spectators in the lives they secretly admire but publicly condemn. By labeling their targets as crazy or unstable, they perform a classic psychological projection, painting others with the colors of their own insecurities to feel a fleeting moment of superiority. This vicious cycle is an addiction. Each act of slander provides a temporary high, a fleeting sense of power and control, but it is always followed by a deeper, more profound crash into their own low self-worth, which in turn fuels the desperate need for another hit. But the universe has a funny way of balancing the scales. Every vibration you send out eventually returns to the source. As the antagonist attempts another hack, their malicious toolkit glitches and sputters. A single pop-up appears on their screen, stark and ominous. Karma initiated. Their screen flickers and a live stream from their own phone's camera suddenly begins, broadcasting their shadowy room and their hushed, hateful muttering directly to their own real social media profile. The mask shatters. The anonymous tormentor is exposed not by their victims, but by the undeniable echo of their own hateful energy. Their carefully constructed world of lies implodes under the weight of truth. And what of the targets? They thrived. Leo and Maya focused on their work, on their real connections, and on their own personal growth. They collaborated, supported each other, and their light proved far too strong to be extinguished by a fleeting, cowardly shadow. So, hi. Because we know you're always watching. But a life spent in the bleachers obsessing over the players on the field is a life unlived. It's time to get off the sidelines and focus on your own game. The most powerful karmic justice is to simply keep living your truth, so brightly and so fully that their shadows have nowhere left to fall. Lies get you nowhere. This is about the person who started trouble for a person they don't even know. They attacked a chosen soul to fuel their ego, give themselves a boost. But the chosen could care less because they are seen no dirty deed goes uncovered. Show the troublemaker lying to anyone that would listen. She searched high and low to slander this woman. People believed her and treated the chosen like an outsider. But people got wise because the lies were not adding up. The troublemaker, as old as she was, acted like she was a prize using AI. Photos and living with her parents, no car, had a DUI and a long histories of crimes. Yet she acted as if she was a divine one. Was far from it. Played on people's empathetic nature and used them. Even stole from them. But one night she did a man wrong and he found out she had no clue she was being investigated for everything she ever did. The slander, the neglect, the stolen identities, the online crimes, white-collar crimes, even stealing from the dead. She is still doing crimes and the tab is due. She wronged the wrong man and he is making sure it will never happen to another elder again. In the shadows of the digital world, she built a life that wasn't hers. A copycat, a catfish using stolen light to mask her own darkness. She scammed, she lied, and she profited from the creativity of others, presenting their work as her own masterpiece of deception. This was not a character in a story. This was her reality. A carefully constructed illusion built on the foundations of other people's identities. But the digital world wasn't enough. She craved more, a tangible connection to the lives she consumed online. She inserted herself into the lives she envied, a ghost in their periphery, observing from a distance that felt all too close. Moving to their towns, their jobs, their neighborhoods, she became a constant, unseen presence. A confused soul with no identity of her own. She sought to steal their energy, their joy, their very life. Her power was pain, and she wielded it with surgical precision. In group chats, she became a master of exploitation, weaving intricate lies to turn people against each other. Two-faced and double-minded, she called herself an instrument of justice, all while breaking every rule, every law, to satisfy her twisted agenda. But she grew sloppy, intoxicated by her own perceived control. The web of lies began to unravel as those she manipulated started to connect the dots, seeing the puppet master behind the curtain. She thought she was untouchable, a puppeteer in a game of her own making. But every action has a consequence, and the digital trail she left was a map leading directly to her door. Her time was up. Karma arrived not as a whisper, but with the force of the law, its flashing lights painting her dark room in shades of red and blue. The screen goes dark. The stolen life is over. Justice, real justice, is served. There once was a woman who built her kingdom on whispers. With every lie she told, a thorny vine would sprout, twisting reality to her will. She felt powerful, watching the world through the tangled web she had woven. Her garden of deceit grew thick and suffocating until she was the queen of a lonely, thorny castle. But outside her self-made prison, the world she tried to control moved on. The sun shone on those she had wronged, their lives untangling from her influence. She was left alone, a monarch of nothing, choked by the very lies she used to breathe. She learned the hardest lesson. A throne built on lies is just a cage. Every time this person do something wrong, they pray to God and play gospel going to church. They tell God they will never do a crime again, but as soon as they see no trouble approach, they do yet another crime against another innocent person. They thought they were not seen, but God was watching them, as they took things in a workplace that did not belong to them. They claim they want to do what is right, but it's all for show. They do things behind the scenes, hidden, and try to set people up. They did another thing and got spooked, thought the cops were after them, and prayed again. But this time, God said, I gave you warnings and chance after chance. Now you will reap what you have sown. Maybe this time, you will learn.
He deceived himself, thinking that backroom deals and betraying public trust would win the voters' favor. Progress, he called it. But now, the founders of his nation surround him, their spectral faces etched with disappointment. He realized and said to himself, I'm not a public servant. I'm haunted by my own wrong deeds. Sleep never comes. Only a gnawing ambition that he feeds with broken promises, his ego getting bigger and bigger. He made a deal. A foolish promise to a powerful lobbyist who despises him that he could pass a harmful bill. It was a fast track to ruin, landing him on Bull Street with his own hubris. He secretly pulled on political favors, thinking he was a kingmaker, but he was the entertainment all alone.
Celestial light descended from the heavens, its silent call illuminating 4 distinct souls with the promise of destiny. Amara and Kenji turned their faces to its warmth, accepting the path laid before them without hesitation. In stark contrast, Liam scoffed, his gaze returning to the hollow glow of his phone. Tala simply sighed, turning her back on the brilliance and the future it offered. Liam's path led him through a world of fleeting luxury. Quick flashes of lavish parties and empty praise showed a growing void behind his eyes, an isolation that deepened with every superficial success. Tala's journey turned inward, where she sat among sacred relics that no longer held meaning. A creeping shadow consumed the room as she stared at her hands, once capable of miracles, now still and powerless. A final, stark contrast reveals their chosen fates. A split screen shows Amara and Kenji at peace upon a vibrant, sun-drenched mountaintop. This is set against Liam, utterly alone in a cold, sterile apartment, and Tala, watching the last embers of a dying fire fade into absolute darkness.
A high priestess is tough because she has tried to be soft, and ones alone need to be such. Is this your story? Many are called, only few will answer. Are you one with the letter MX's and half moon in her palm, and you are doing the work? They are gifted. The ancestors will choose these beings to break generational curses. They walk with angels speaking to and chosen by God for a higher calling. They master themselves and isolate themselves. Some do on their own, as I have for years. Sometimes we come out and learn more lessons if you revert to an old habit or step into a situation that is not for your highest good. We are all having a human experience, so we are not perfect. Sometimes we can come out of being isolated and healing and meet your other half or your spouse. Sometimes we are untrusting of others due to rejection or avoiding pain. Yet we are all different, we heal differently. They say to not trust is a form of lack of faith. It is not lack of faith. It is protecting yourself, being guarded. Sometimes we have to feel, like really feel if one is genuine, rather it be associates, friends, or something more. A ship is a ship. It can sink or sail. This can be due to one's lack of trust or the other's lack of communication. One can persist and one may look at another as false. Being wrong sometimes do not make a high priestess powerless. It just means she needs more tuning. She can be very independent, intelligent, and wise beyond her years, yet quiet and very observant. No matter her situation, her faith in God is first. She talks to spirits, and yes, they sometimes talk back. She gets clarity, blessings, and synchronicities on a regular. These beings may seem tough, but they must. A single independent beauty may seem to have it all. even seem to have had an easy life, a silver spoon. Though this is far from truth. She has cried 1,000,000 tears and felt millions of knives in her spine. She has been mocked, laughed at, lied on, stolen from, avoided like she was the plague. Yet she still has love in her heart and stars in her eyes that sparks wonder like a child. Her love is deeper than the blackest of seas. Her heart refused to grow bitter because she feels beauty around her. The ancestors guard her light. To keep what one can't steal is her light and her soul. Such precious gift from God. In the 3D, seeing what she has crawled through daunt. One thinks she deserves another. One who is all in which she is. One that will protect every fabric of her hair. A high vibrational priestess needs to be and feel protected at all times. She would get so much more accomplished knowing she is loved and protected, would you agree? Kale saw the threads of destiny, the deepest desires etched into every soul. He could perceive the tapestry of choices that shaped a life, the single pull that could unravel it all. A gift, he called it. A weapon, he made it. He built a throne on their pain, crafting his ascent from the wreckage of others. With a handshake, he guided the ambitious Lee toward a ruinous merger, seizing the empire they built together. He saw the fire in the artist Nita, offering her patronage and fame while secretly claiming her brilliant work as his own. To the hopeful community leader David, he whispered promises of prosperity, manipulating him into a venture that left his people destitute. He fed calculated lies to the journalist Sarah, turning her quest for truth into a tool to obliterate careers for sport. But the universe keeps its own ledger. In his lavish penthouse, surrounded by the spoils of his deceit, Kale's gift twisted. The smug satisfaction on his face warped into sheer horror as ghostly visions of his victims flashed before his eyes, their anguish suddenly his own. Now he feels their despair, their agony, their shattered hopes. Every stolen dream, every broken promise, every tear shed in his name now echoes endlessly in his mind. He is trapped not by walls of glass and steel, but by the suffering he authored. A perfect, inescapable prison of his own making. In the vibrant chaos of the 1970s, Julian Rivera wasn't a spiritualist, he was a showman. Under the glittering disco balls of local fame, he was Jules the Ghostbuster, a charismatic fraud in a polyester suit chasing applause, not apparitions. His next gig, the long-abandoned Orpheum Grand, a place where legends and whispers of tragedy were tangled in cobwebs. For Julian, it was just another stage. He began his routine, a dance of dramatic gestures and hollow incantations. But then, a change. A genuine bone-deep cold swept through the theater. A spotlight shattered. A whisper, faint and sorrowful, slithered through the silence. For the first time, the fear on his face wasn't an act. From the shadows, a form coalesced. A shimmering, translucent woman in a tattered stage dress. This was no paid extra. He was paralyzed by terror. Just as the ghost drifted towards him, the heavy theater doors creaked open. In the doorway stood Serafina, a woman whose power was in her stillness. Mama Serafina, as the community knew her, was the genuine article. She walked past the terrified Julian, her eyes fixed on the spirit. "Child, your final curtain call was long ago," she said calmly. "Tell me your story." She didn't perform, she listened. The spirit's story unfolded, a young singer betrayed and forgotten. With a quiet prayer, Mama Serafina guided the lost soul towards the light. The haunting ceased, replaced by a profound peace. Julian, the showman, was no more. In his place was a man who had seen the truth, ready to truly learn. Three knocks at your soul. This is about a beautiful woman named Kat and her last warning. Fleeing from state to state on a promise to a fresh start. The bad habits die hard, she kept returning to her evil ways. A sweet woman 20 years older knew her habits and told her. She was a last warning when people don't listen after so many fresh starts to start over and do better. They get the messages from God, and if they listen, they are being blessed, and if they don't, it usually don't end well. The woman acted like oh well and kept up with her habits, and found out the beautiful older woman was not just talking out of the side of her neck. She told the truth, and the lady realized it too late. Her bad habits got her caught up in a messy situation that landed her behind bars and with an illness that could not be cured. Drinking too much and being of Jezebel spirit with transmitted diseases is not cute. Remember the song by TLC, Waterfalls Have a Listen. She is a Jezebel and has low self-esteem. This woman thinks if another woman's man will have relations with her, it makes her feel wanted and beautiful. She needs constant attention and validation from another man. But not just any man, he has to be another woman's man. She love bombs and is hypersexual, has no boundaries, and loves to see the other females in stress over female items she left in a car or in a house on purpose. She looks for problems on social media for clues of fights or breakups. Once she sprayed a man's house with her perfume and wiped lipstick on a napkin and left it where it could be found. She had to learn a hard lesson.
She ended up pregnant.
She was not doing this on purpose. She contacted the married man on Facebook Messenger and told him her devastating news. He acted like he had no clue who she was and flipped out on her, calling her crazy and obsessed. He even accused her of trying to extort money. She could not believe her. She was torn. She only met him at meetups and really only knew what she saw online, married with a small child. So she went back on Facebook to look at his profile and it was gone. He vanished, so she called his cell and it was not a working number. She was lost in a maze of feeling totally not wanted, felt used and abused, and felt sick, and felt karma was looking to be a nightmare. So she called a man who she'd been long destroyed his engagement and acted like she missed him to try to lure him in for money to abort mission. Even Josh was not even happy nor cared to see or hear from her. It seemed the doors slammed shut and she was seen as a troublemaker. There was even a website called Homebreakers and she was on it. She had a lot of money at one point, but blew the bag like it was no tomorrow and only had little to none left. She had no job because her job was getting cash from others. A year later, the beautiful girl had twins. She even fell in love with a handsome doctor and they were soon to tie the knot, so she thought. She was finally seeing life look up even though she had twins and was a single mother. Someone loved her, and to marry a doctor, her life was going to be easy. She wanted a nanny, a maid, and had dreams of long trips to Spain. But that dream came to a hard end. When she went to her soon-to-be husband's job to surprise him, there was this tall, beautiful, exotic Brazilian goddess with tan skin and long black hair smiling at her coming out of the exam room. She asked her, "Ma'am, are you here to clean? It needs a lot of attention." She said, "No, and who are you?" The goddess beauty said, "I'm Carmilla Stealth, Dr. Joy's ex-fiancé, but I'm back."
He walks out!
And froze. He was about to run away, but he looked her in the eyes and said, "This is my Carmilla I spoke of, and she is back." She was in shock. He said, "Why do you think I never sat a date right away and you knew I still loved Carmilla?" She could not believe it. Everything he said sounded like mush. He said, "I'm not going to pretend I'm over Carmilla. We were together since childhood. You had to know my heart only belongs to Carmilla." She ran out, and all she saw was faces of crying females and angry men. And she remembered how much she hurt others breaking up. Happy families just to feel something, and just when she really felt something. Brother, she got played by a man who knew he was not leaving his Carmel. She was only a placemat. It's so easy to forget what you give is what you get.
After the soul ascends, it must first learn to walk alone. High on a mountain path, a spiritual man journeys in solitude. A silent period of integration far from the world's noise, allowing his newfound consciousness to settle within him. His path leads him down into a bustling, dreamlike marketplace, a chaotic dance of life. Amidst the crowd, his eyes meet hers. For a fleeting moment, a vision flashes between them, adorned in ancient Egyptian regalia, a shared past life. It is not a memory, but a profound, soul-deep recognition that transcends time itself. Their destinies then diverge, splitting into two possible realities. In one, their paths merge, and they walk hand in hand towards a brilliant sunrise, a union blessed by fate. In the other, a wide river flows between them, a barrier of circumstance and karma keeping their worlds apart. Years later, their hair now streaked with silver, they meet upon a bridge spanning that very river. This final reunion shows that true connection is not bound by time, arriving when it is meant to, or perhaps not at all.
This is for entertainment purposes only, but really what is the fuss about? With these two, it's been nearly 100 years. They both have a fault. They both are in their ego, a never-ending fight cause they both want to win. But what if it's Batman who started the fight, just to have an upper hand to look the part? Who do you think started the fight? Opinions are like looks, we all have a distinctive one of our own and the opinions to match. But looks are deceiving, it's beyond expectations, don't you think? Cause at one time or another we act. Not for fun, but to fit into a box because we want to be in that box. Because it's a popular box, so some thought. It's the box everyone else is in. Just like a fresh pair of Jordans, they might be $500 to $1,000, but they're popular and broke today or not, I must buy them. Everyone has or want them. The opinions of one's mind should be in logic, True or false? Integrity over popular opinion. Using what is real versus fake? Popular or not, it's called think for yourself. Ask yourself, is this good for my highest or no? Give your spin on this Batman and Joker situation, who is really the villain. Or is it a one-sided story and it's just for gain? The popular opinion said, Batman is the good one. Get to the bottom of a situation completely before making a decision. Though Batman is a bat theme, and the villains are usually very oddly different. The kind of different people judge. Like in your reality, different is strange, right?